back with it. Everyone, hello. Hey, everyone. I am Jocquill, and you are here with the shift in perspective. And now, look, let me get a little bit more. Let me get a little bit more centered here. For those of you who know a little bit about who I am, welcome. For those who do not know about what the signature pour is, welcome as well. And this is going to be awesome because this is going to be one of the first live streams we've done in months. And as you can see, we've changed the setup. We are in a new area filled with new perspective, new motion, and a new sense of purpose that is a driving force through everything the signature pour talks about. So, with the signature pour, this is shift in perspective. And I tell you what, it is going to be awesome. So, first off, let me just start by saying we will do lives Saturdays at noon. Ideally, we don't have the proper scheduling times just done just yet because, your boy got moves to make. Sin embargo, for the time being, we're going for every Saturday at noon just to have the real conversations of the health, wealth, and energy that is needed in our everyday lives for our EDS, our everyday success, everyday shiznits. So, without further ado, we're going to get into this heavy because one of our first topics, and big shout outs to one of the YouTube subscribers that helped me out with this point. I'll tag him and shout him out. The law of conservation of energy. The law of conservation of energy allows you to transform what's already been created because energy cannot be destroyed and it cannot be created. It can only be transformed from what it initially was. So, with that even being said, it allows you to know that you aren't the same person that you are all the time. You can always transform the concept and structure of what you know and believe to be true. That's the point of living this lovely little lifestyle that we do. And the more you're aware of how you're able to do those things through discipline, which everybody hates so much, through action that takes you to get up and go somewhere, and the consistency to continue those things on are easy things. They just have to be structured to where they're not thought about. And the biggest thing that we always struggle with is the concept of how heavy something is. Let me share this interesting fact with you about our brains, because it's something that I've only just discovered myself, and it's blowing my mind consistently, and I just can't get enough of it. So, say you have this 10-pound box, right? You have this 10-pound box, and our brains don't measure weight like we know weight. Our consciousness know that 10 pounds is 10 pounds. So if you can't lift 10 pounds, then, oh man, I can't lift 10 pounds. So our consciousness knows that, but our brains don't know that. Our brains only know the sense of strain that is given when you try to lift it and the inconvenience of how it's moving. So our brains understand that, like, oh man, this is really weird. Like, I can't get it. Our minds go, oh, it's heavy. Like, it's heavy. So this concept is that if you were to place that same 10-pound box on a 2-pound box, right? What happens is the surface area shifts from the top box to the bottom box. So the 10-pound box levels out through the surface plane of the bottom box, which in then you lift makes it feel lighter, right? It makes the box feel lighter because there's so much surface tension that has gone through the first set of level that it makes it easier to lift. Now, the weight hasn't changed. If anything, you've added more weight, right? Place the law of conservation of energy into the same concept. All of what happened was the weight transferred from the one box to the bottom box. And then it made your brain go, this is lighter because there's less strain. Like there's not nothing stopping me from lifting it directly and go. You can say that bottom box is like a level for the weight on the top. Now, this is fascinating because if you think about the fact that now this 10-pound box that you thought was so difficult to lift, is now so easy to carry with an extra couple pounds on it. Not due to the fact that, it's lighter. No, it's more convenient to carry. So if you use that same aspect in your life of, all right, it's not hard, it's just inconvenient for me right now because it's too much motion, then you can only find the ways that you stack something below it to level it out to where it becomes so easy to lift. That in itself is amazing. I'm about to say awesome. I gotta know where I am on the stream. But that in itself is so amazing because nothing changed. Let's change it. Actually, a lot more changed. If anything, you added more to it, right? So with you adding more to it and it still being lighter only gives the perspective thought of, so maybe it's not as heavy. Maybe there's something that I'm not using. Maybe there's not something that I'm using to my full advantage. Here, I'll break down another one for you. And this is just based off of, and look, these are just based off of what I've come to notice when it comes to these kinds of things. When you lift something, say you lift that same 10-pound box, right? But say you don't go and pick it up. Say you have it placed in your hands or on your arm or wherever you have it. It can feel lighter in that sense too, because of how it's placed. Your arms are that same stability. They're that same level. So the weight transfers from that heavy object to a surface level area that allows it to stay where it is. And that's all plays a big part in what you're able to do in your own life, because when you apply the way you're able to structure something, it holds automatically. You don't need to do nothing to it because of the structure in itself. It has nothing to do with strength. It has nothing to do with power. It has to do with the structure of the design. Now, if you want to get into let's let it trickle. Let's let it trickle a little bit, because this is why it's so important to understand these connections, right? So let's let it trickle a little bit. Your spine works the same way. The way that your spine holds up your entire body is the same science of what I was just talking about with the boxes, right? So your V3 is your third vertebrae, is the most important one of the most important vertebrates on your spine, because it's what keeps your back straight and it's what allows the bottom, it's what allows motion in your legs, because your brain sends those signals through your nervous system down to it, to where that it controls your legs, to where that it controls the lower half of your body. That's why you get hit in the spine, or you hurt your back a certain way, you can't walk or you can't move, or you strain yourself, you can't move or anything, because it's all connected, right? So the same setup of how your spine holds up your whole body is that same structure. So without that third vertebrae there to support the rest of your body, you can't move it. You have no feeling. So that's why it's always so. That's why they say it's important to like sleep on like a good mattress and take care of it, because you have to have that structure. And that's why I always say like it's important to sit up straight. It's always important to sit up straight. As straight as you can. Like keep your shoulders back, and keep your chest up, because it only just strengthens that structure of your entire body for you to be held in a certain way. Isn't that fascinating? Isn't that just so interesting that the same structure of what holds you up on an everyday basis is something that you can apply in the same structure of a business, of a project, of a company? Like, isn't it so fascinating that you're able to do those things in such a manner that allows you to just become better, become stronger? Not because of the fact that you're literally exerting yourself to get stronger. No, because you're aligning yourself properly that creates structure. So it takes no real effort to do it. What does take effort is for you to be able to know that, damn, if I don't straighten it up right, if it doesn't have the same equilibrium on each side, then there's a chance that it's going to fall. If you don't put in that effort to understand that structure of it, then of course it's always going to fall. Of course it's always going to go down, because there's no real alignment. There's no real structure that it was set up to be. That in itself is the whole concept of the structure that is necessary in your everyday, right? You have to be able to know that, like, what happens when you sleep wrong. You wake up and you're like, oh man, I slept a little weird, or like, oh man, I slept a little weird, oh man, I slept a little weird. And then what happens? You're not able to fully be how you are when you're doing what you do best. Like, it just doesn't work out too well. So for you to be able to actually realize, like, oh man, like, if I just create like a little bit of structure, if I actually take the time to design it, if I actually take the moment to set it up in a sense that's going to allow me not only to feel better and be better, however, to open up new possibilities of what can be done, then, oh man, like, that's awesome. And that's what we miss a lot of times. We miss a lot of those moments of, this can be something that can get you somewhere else. Because what do we do instead? What do we do instead? Look, what do we do instead of going, all right, I'm gonna do this thing and I'm gonna wait for the outcome? What do we do instead? We do the thing and, like, did it work? Like we want to know right then and there. Like, I spend $1, what am I getting for it? Like, and that, there's nothing wrong with that, because it's just like how the way of the world. You don't give nothing, you don't get nothing without the exchange of values of goods. That's just how it's been. Right? I mean, I don't know the science and the merchant aspect behind it, but that's just how it goes. Like, I trade you hammer for goat. Like, sorry, I didn't have a better analogy. But that's how it is. So when you decide that you have to give a little to get a little, you start to realize how much you're able to give. And this is why it's always important to know how full that bottle is. You can't pour. You just can't pour if there ain't nothing in it. If there ain't nothing in that bottle, then how are you supposed to even drink some water? How are you supposed to even stay hydrated? How are you supposed to stay in the game if you can't even provide? Because you have to know what you're able to give in order to be able to receive. Most people will decide to go, all right, like, I want this and I want that and I want that. And then they go, all right, cool. What you got? And people go, what do you mean, what do I got? Let me ask you this. Just ask them, just because, like, I'm curious, because, like, I like to figure things out. So let me ask this. You ever been to like a restaurant, a store, anywhere where you wanted something, and then you've ever just walked into that Walmart, you've just walked into that Red Robin's, and then just been like, hey, so I want a burger and fries. Hey, I want this 55-inch screen TV. And they've been like, okay. And then you just left with it? No. Let's be real. Like, so the same way that you got to walk into a Walmart and pay for your 55-inch screen TV, the same way you got to walk into Red Robin's and order your burger and fries and pay for it, is the same way you got to walk into your everyday life and do the same exact thing. You got to walk into your everyday life going, all right, this is what I got to get. This is what I got. I got a little bit of, I can make it rain. I can flex. I can ball. You got to be able to wake up every single day to know that, like, this is what I got. So this is what I want. And a lot of people are doing the opposite. A lot of people are waking up in the world like, man, I want everything and ain't got nothing. And trust, you're not going to get nothing. Like, because you're not doing anything for it. Like, look, everybody wants something, but you have to be able to be the person that's willing to do something to get it, because everybody wants something, but everybody ain't going to do nothing to get it. Everybody wants all the good. It's funny. I was watching an interview with Elon Musk, and feel however you feel about him. Like, it's just, look, if you feel some kind of way about someone's name being mentioned, then you should probably study that person a little bit more and figure out why you get so offended, because maybe you got a lot of outside perspective coming in on it and you're not listening to what that person actually do. But anyway, like, I was watching a video with Elon Musk, and he was mentioning about the fact of how, everybody says that they want to be Elon Musk. Everybody wants to like run the world. Everybody wants to, be the new innovation of, travel and what he got going on, because that man's a genius. But then he talks about how, like, his mind, like, right, his mind is what he can't talk to regular people. Like, he can't go, he wouldn't be able to just walk outside of his house and go to a Target or Walmart and have a conversation with someone, because he's Elon Musk. Not because of he's Elon Musk because of what he's done, because he's Elon Musk in the way that he thinks. When he's talking to someone, he's not thinking about the same outcomes of the conversation as what a normal person would. So it's hard for him to kind of interact with people outside of, like, his family and the people that he works with and stuff like that. So it's very interesting to know that a lot of people want some things that they don't truly understand. You don't understand. When you pray for the rain, you got to deal with the mud too. You pray for the rain for your harvest, you got to be willing to know that there could be a fucking hell rainstorm and can come and beat them shits in. And then next thing you know, you ain't got no, but you prayed for it. And this is why it's important to know what you want, because if you don't know what you want, you're going to go out here in this world and you're going to be like, hey, I want this, and this is how I want it, and I don't know, with all the energy. And the thing about the universe is it will give it to you, because the vibration you're radiating is just so high. It's just like, man, whoa, shit, give it to him. And then you're going to get it, but then you're going to realize that it's too heavy. Then you're going to then it's going to land right in your lap, and you're going to be like, I can't move. Like, I can't lift it. I can't take it with me, because you are so focused on the outcome of what you wanted. You didn't think about what you had to do to be able to lift it. You wanted it so bad that you didn't realize that it would take a certain amount of strength to retain it. And that's the problem. There's nothing wrong with wanting. You should want stuff out of life. You should always want more. That's what makes us so different than a cow or an ant or a fucking, like, lion even. A lion wants to sleep for 12 hours a day, wake up and eat. A person wants to sleep 12 hours a day, wake up, eat, but then become something more. The thing is, we get so caught in such a routine and such an everyday that it doesn't allow us to reach higher levels, because we're so caught in routine. So it's not about just what you want. It's about what you are when you want it. Because look, you can want to be strong enough to lift a car. Okay, cool. Say you get strong enough to lift a car, and then you go lift the car and throw your back out. Yeah, you only wanted to be strong enough to lift a car. You didn't want to be more flexible enough to where you didn't throw out your motherfucking back. You didn't want to be over here you didn't want to be able to be more flexible enough to where that you know that you got to do proper stretches. This is why, like, bodybuilders got a bad rep over the years. They're only more so focused on being to where that this is all it is. They wanted this, but they forgot about everything else. There's a coach that I follow, and he's a really great guy. Like, his name is Coach Blue on Instagram, and he's just like I think he's from Brazil, and he was in the military and whatnot, and he's just a beast. He's just a beast. Like his training, his workout videos, the way that he mixes different types of training is incredible. And the longevity that this man has, forget about it. This man is extreme when it comes to this. And he's an awesome dude. You can hear him when he talks, and I bring him up because he's someone who is literally like one of those, like the man is like, ugh. And he's one of those people who realized that he didn't only want strength. He didn't only want power. He wanted to be able to know how to use it. So along with the fact that this man is just like a beast, he's able to move so well because he didn't only focus on just the want. He focused on the overall goal of why he wanted it. So that way, when he got it, it leads him into where he is now. Awesome guy. Like, honestly, I gotta do a little training with him, But that's the thing. Like, you get so caught up in the wants, you get so caught up in the what you don't have, and you get so caught up in the needs and whatnot, when you forget that your brain works by itself. You don't breathe because you think about breathing. You are able to hydrate your own body for weeks at a time. So you can hold water and keep yourself alive. You breathe unconsciously. So that way your lungs fill up and then disperse out for you to keep in motion. You do these things automatically with no fail. And you feel like you want more of what you already have. You already have the greatest things. Because if you didn't have any of those things, guess what? You ain't here. So it's not about what the wants are. It's about what the haves are. You use the haves that you got to go for more for what you want. I have the air in my lungs to keep pushing forward. I have the hydration in my system to keep me active. I have the capacity to keep me moving. So I'm going to go and get all the things I want. And people do it the opposite way. We do it back. We forget that our brains are keeping us alive without us even knowing it, and then can complain about the fact that the fries are cold or someone cuts you off. Okay, de acuerdo, move on. Like, who gives a, like, it's just what happens. The thing is, you have so much more of what you think that all you got to do is just apply that. All you got to do is just apply those things. Before I jumped on live, I was reflecting. I started my channel because I really wanted to be able to script the TED Talk that I'm going to be featured in coming soon. And I wanted to be able to script it to where that I can get the information and be able to retain the information for myself, right? Because the signature report isn't a business. It's a lifestyle. You simply wake up every day to do the things that make you better. You simply do the things that you want to do that helps everybody that you care for and want to help. So when it comes to these everyday things, they're more about the fact of putting them in a set manner that can allow for ultimate progression. Like it allows you to know that the things you do on an everyday basis work more. And before I jumped on live, like I was having a little confliction about it because at the end of the day, it's normal for you to want to grow and it's normal to be scared about that growth. And that growth is normal. It's a part of the evolution. It's a part of why we went from beating in rocks to hammering hammers to drilling nail guns. It's how it works. And before I jumped on live, I was sitting here on chat, like, say what you want about it, but you do what you do. And I was on chat and I was talking and I was just like, yo, like, what if what I'm doing isn't enough, right? What if what I'm doing doesn't create the idea of what I'm thinking about? And and through the awareness that I already have, I know that there's at the top of the mountain, there's another mountain. Like I get that when you eat and you fill up, you're gonna be hungry again. I understand these things. My thing is, I would like for them to work. I would like these things to actually take a certain form and be implemented in my life to where that I can share it and then it can like increase value in others' lives. And then that's where I get too cosmic and I get too ahead of myself and I get too rushed. Because what I've learned is that if you are doing what you are doing, if you're doing it in your best efforts for what you care about, for how you're going about it, for what you're doing, then you're okay. And my thing is, I'm okay. If you ask me, yes, I'm okay. I am living in Florida. I got a new job that I'm going to be training at today to bring in more money, to add to more income, to do more of the things that I want to do. Like, I know what I want. I know how to get there. I understand that, there's going to be a little fight for it. I get these things. I get these things. Everybody else don't get these things. There's a lot of people who don't see it this way. There's a lot of people who wake up every day in turmoil, not because their life is just dramatic or that bad stuff always happens to them. It's because their perspective of everything happening is only the bad. Oh man, I'm tired. Oh, I'm broke. Oh man, I'm not happy. Oh, I'm depressed. Oh, I need this. Oh, I need that. Oh, no. There's just so many things that people do that the next thing that comes its way, the same way we were just talking about all of that energy and the vibration, the same thing that comes their way is more of those things. Our brains can only comprehend what we give it. It's your brain. It's your thought. It's not, look, trust and believe. It may be coming from an external setup because of like what's coming in and what's not. Hey, dobre din, comrade. Itu Prakash ni Azizon. Oh, that's awesome. I love how I'm getting more to Russian. Sorry. I'm just really excited about it. Like I like the Russian language. Like it's better. I guess I wasn't speaking it. I'm learning. Hey, we getting there. Anyway, it's all about getting better. Like I'm pretty sure it was right. I'm pretty sure I was almost saying something. I made it dobre din. I know that's real. Like but anyway. It just sorry, it threw me off. But anyway, even with that, of just me just wanting to be able to connect more, I'm not afraid to know that probably wasn't correct. Well, I'm pretty sure I had a little bit of it. I've practiced a little bit, I can't say for sure, but even through that, like for me to be fearless and to just speak it how I can is all I can do, because I can't sit back and hold myself back from wanting to be more. This is one thing that I told myself that I can't do no more. Like, once I told myself that I couldn't do this no more, then it was just over with for how like I treated every situation afterwards. I told myself that I cannot be insecure, worried, scared about something I don't know. If I approach a situation and I don't know what's going on, I will not be scared to ask questions. I will not be ashamed that I don't know it. I will not sit back and act like I know it, because I don't. And through all of this is what really makes you grow. Because if you you ever seen those, when you lie on when you lie on your job application, you get the job, you may get the job. So you better stop playing around with it. Like, that it really needs more attention, right? It needs more attention for you to be able to know what you can do and how you can do it. And if you can't do it or you don't know about it, then don't be ashamed. Don't be scared of it. Most people do the opposite. Like, in school, if you act like, I don't look, I can be honest with it. Like, I never was one to want to know, because like, I'm gonna ask a lot of questions. I knew I was more quiet, because like, it's not the fact that I didn't know it or knew it. It was just about the fact that like, I wanted to know more of it. I'm pretty sure it was gonna take up more time with the questions I had. So I never said no. But you never wanted to be that person that never raised their hand because they felt that they would be called out for it. Like, and I get it. It's how it's all right. It's society, it's human, man. People are cruel. People are cruel. But just as people are cruel, there's an equal and opposite reaction to that. There are people who are completely understanding. If you are in the world of just a complete sense of wanting to understand, wanting to know, realizing that you don't know, but you can understand the science behind it, to where you can figure out the equation to solve the problem, and then let it be a problem that nobody else can solve, and now you can get paid immensely for it. That's what we all about. That's the point. You don't make it to those steps until you actually care about what you know. And you can't care about what you know if you're scared to know what you know. You have to be okay with what you know and who you are and how you have to use your information. Everyone can tell you their story. Not everyone can tell you what they got from that story. Most people will tell you the same story. And it's funny enough, they didn't even really write a book. They can just tell you the same story. They can tell you verbatim how it pissed them off, how it got there, how it did this, how everything led up. And then at the end of the book, when you're like at the end on the edge of your seat, wondering like, so like, what'd you do? Nothing. At the end, they did nothing. They sat back, told you this whole long grand scheme about how it made them feel, about what it was and about what they were thinking about. And you were like, oh, here it comes. And then next thing you know, they were just like, yeah, man. Didn't learn nothing from it. Didn't grab nothing from it. Can't give you nothing. I mean, in everything, there's always something that you can learn from everything if you're listening, if you're willing to pay attention to it. But the thing is, like, what you expected out of it, you won't get. And that's how it is. Like, some people will just tell you the same story over and over. I would have went pro if it weren't from a bum knee. Like, people are gonna say the same stories. Like, they're gonna just say, and they're gonna live in that essence for a long time. Most people live in it forever. Most people die in it. Addiction works the same way, just in different formats. Addiction has its different ways. Addiction has its different setups and concepts of how you feel you need something for it to work. Like, you can be addicted to love. You can be addicted to dependency. You can be addicted to almost anything, really. This is why it's important to understand where you are when you're in those moments. This is why the effects of drugs, alcohol, different influences have a different structure, setup of how it divvies out the feelings. Ergo is why, weed affects one class of people different than it does affects another class of people. Like, if you like, even in an inverse, right? Even in an inverse, like you stopping something that you've been doing for the longest time, feels weird doing it differently for the rest of the time. That's just how it goes. That's just how. So it works on both ends, and you just understand that. Oh, well, I really want to feel more like this. I really want to be more representative in how I am in these moments. So I'm going to do this instead. And then you grow, you evolve, you adapt, you change, you transform. And to question what is nothing wrong with it. You just have to be able to know what it is you want to know. That's it. Once you figure out, like, all right, man, 1 + 2 = 3 × 3 = 6. All right. How do I make it 18? You're just able to work backwards. You're just able to do the same kind of work in a different format. And this is why it's important. This is why it's so important. This is why, if you're not paying attention to like these little things, because these little things exist everywhere. From the moment you open your eyes, from the moment you open your eyes, you're already going to be influenced. That's why it's important to wake up, like, okay, let's get it. Versus waking up like, oh, I need a coffee. Oh, I gotta get to work. Oh, gotta do it. Oh, oh man, people are always, like, there's a really big difference. And the reason that makes the top percentage of earners of the world so different than the regular people of the world is because their focus on the betterment is what they're paying attention to, not what's not going their way. Trust and believe. If you're Elon Musk right now and someone just blew up in a Tesla, guess who they're going to be looking at? His that. Because he's the one that got his name on Tesla. Like, so there's going to be some issues. There's going to be some things that you can't avoid. And okay, look, all right, fine. De acuerdo. Dale. It's not your fault. Cool. It is your responsibility to handle the outcome. That's the part that people miss. Most people go, oh, it's not my fault. I had nothing to do with it. Blah, blah, blah. And then that doesn't do anything for the situation either. Someone who goes, this is because of the fact that I didn't leave 5 minutes early like I planned on. Who do you think is going to have a better outcome on the inconvenience? Because it's not about the external things that allow you to feel that it's not working or it hasn't worked. It's about the things that you know that you do internally that makes the life that you live. That's really the main purpose of the Signature Pour. It's for us to talk about the fact of the energy that you put into your everyday lives, the health that you apply in your everyday routines, the wealth that you bother to accumulate to study, to know that you can do most things. That's dope. Like, and that's what we are like. Yes, it's scary as shit. Hell yeah. It can also be super fun if you realize that if you look, this is like, and I'll compare it to like roller coasters because it's always such a fun like concept to me. It's so funny how someone can get on a roller coaster and go "Wah!" like and lose their shit, and somebody can go on a roller coaster like, and it's just so interesting to understand that. Yes, look, if you're anybody who grew up when I grew up and you've seen Final Destination, hell, you wouldn't want to get on a roller coaster either. like, but then if you're someone who understands like the science of the world and know that like this is people's livelihood that they had to make sure that this was properly attacked, then like things don't happen. Like, do inconveniences happen? I really don't know. I don't go look up statistics on Orlando Universal death route. I don't do this. I don't put my brain there. Is it possible? Of course. The possibilities are any. You're more likely to be crushed by a vending machine than you are attacked by a shark, simply because you walk past more vending machines than you go to the beach. So like so does it, like, at the end of the day, does probability really matter, or does it matter about what you're able to do in the depths of probability? Like, shit, if a shark about to attack you for a bit, punch it in the nose. If you ain't got the underwater strength to punch it, or you don't see it coming, then shit. but I say all that because it's important to know that there are different ways that you can go about how to structure your setup. There are different formulas that you can apply in everyday scenarios, because the best part about stacking your knowledge is the same thing with Coach Blue. Like, he's someone who literally is like just this swollen, but how acrobatic he is in his workouts and stuff, you wouldn't think that he could walk around and do things like that. Like, and then it's not because of the fact that he just wanted to be better. It's because he was diversified in his training, to where that he knew that he didn't want to just be a meathead. He knew that he wanted to be able to be strong and ready for action. So it takes all of those things that you want to implement in your life regularly. And this is where the EDS comes in. Everyday success, everyday shit. Because what do they say? There's always going to be a new big thing. There's always going to be someone younger. There's always going to be someone stronger. There's always going to be someone better, of course. But the thing is, if you're someone who becomes better regularly on a consistent basis, then it doesn't matter. I was getting my hair cut, and I was talking to my barber, and I was telling him about like upcoming like Muay Thai tournament I got going. Like, yeah, about to get in that one. like I was talking to him about like what weight I'm at. I was like, yo, I'm walking around in like 155, 150, 154 and shit like that. And he was like, oh yeah, that's a good weight to be like walking around in. That's a good class. And I said, and I was like, yeah, like, I mean, but like I can move up, like if it comes, because sometimes in like fighting arenas, like even if like you're like 155 and like there's somebody that's like 145, they'll still end up like matching you up, so like it works in certain ways depending on the fighters you have, depending on the tournament and everything, but the logistics of it. I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I'm walking around 155 and whatnot. And he's like, oh, that's a good rate to be walking around, man, especially with how long and tall you are. And I was like, that's a good point. It's not about how light I am to someone else. It's about how strong I am to everyone. So if I got a bout with someone 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds heavier than me, then I'll do it still. I don't care. Like, because it has nothing to, and I won't be ready like, yeah. Oh, I gotta fight somebody outside my weight class. No, that's not right. No. Because in a regular fight, you don't know who your opponent will be. Your opponent could have 3 inches and 160 pounds over you. Your opponent could be a lion. Especially with how the world's going now, your next opponent could be a robot. So if you're not preparing yourself to go toe-to-toe with a robot, I'm playing, you don't got to do all that. But I'm saying, if you're not preparing yourself to be able to be as strong as you can be in any moment, then it doesn't matter who the opponent is. It doesn't matter if it's set up in your weight class and design or whatever, because you're still going to lose. You were so focused on the fact of like, it needs to be like this for it to be like that, so that way it can be this way. And then you totally forgot that life don't work that way. You totally forgot that you abided by all the rules, but then you forgot about the one law of the universe, that it has no master. You forgot that this world was going to spin with you on it or off it. So it don't matter. But you had all this plan. You had all this ability. Now you thrown off. Now you, no. But that's why you become stronger all the time. I seen this one video and it's so cool. Like, and honestly, I was one of the, I can tell you that, like, I damn near fell for it too. I fell for it. I didn't do it right either. It was this guy he was talking about, it was a little 12-second short, nothing crazy. It was like, everybody in here, raise your hand. And everybody raised their hand. And then he was like, now raise it higher. And everybody raised it higher. He was like, why didn't y'all do that the first time? And I was like, damn, I didn't raise my hand as high as I could. Like I didn't go all in on what I was able to do. I didn't, never again. Like I've sat in a lot of like the same like classroom setting, you know, like it doesn't really change when you get older. Like for those, like for the younger viewers or for anybody like, you know, in school still or in business now, like, if you notice, those worlds aren't different. The world that you sit in when you was a kid and you didn't raise your hand is the same world you sit in business and you don't stand up and say anything. You don't stand up and show your worth and show your value. It's the same thing. It may not be as insane as like a 3rd grade science project, but it still plays the same principles. And if you transfer that energy, law of conservation of energy, if you transfer that setup to a whole new vast playing field of range, and you was innovative enough to be the only one doing it, then it's going to do something more than what was there before. That's just how it goes. That's how innovators are born. That's how creators start. So it's not about you needing it to be certain conditions. It's about you being able to withstand every condition. It's about you being able to go right in and handling your motherfucking business to where that you do what you're supposed to do, despite how cold it is, how much it's raining, how hot it is, how sunny it is, what they doing, if they're having a great time, if they're having a bad time. It does not matter. I gotta get my own beeping system. I need some monitors to like beat me out. Because if you're not doing it to where you're going to be at your best, then it won't work for any time you need it. I don't remember if it was a Warren Buffett quote or not, but you know, like it's a money quote. And it says that if you can't be financially responsible with $100, you won't be financially responsible with $1 million. And that only just makes sense. That only just makes too much sense. If you got $100 for the week, it's Sunday today, and you got till next week Sunday, and you only got $100, are you gonna be good? You're gonna be able to eat, you're gonna be able to transport, you're gonna be able to still go to work, you're gonna be able to make some more money on top of that 100 before that 100 depends. You're gonna be able to do something with, you're gonna be able to do these things because that's what it takes. It takes that level of thinking to know, like, all right, this may be $100 now, but in 3 days, it may be $60. It may be $0. It could possibly be that $1 million. But if you're not on that level of thinking of how you can do that with that $100, then it's not gonna work with any amount of money. This is one thing that we talked about. This is something we talked about a little while ago. If you was on live last year. If you aren't able to control how you are normally, then you'll be able to fall for anything that happens. Your emotion is higher than your intelligence. And that's not a good thing. Because when you need to handle your business, you can't start crying. You need to be on your business through and through until business is done or business don't go through. Because business gets done, business doesn't go through, got some work to do. And that's all it takes. And that's all it really takes for you to just know that you can transform the energy. You can do it so easily that it just takes little things. Change isn't massive. I make an abundance of income and riches that come in heavily because I increase and create more of my value 10 times, 20 times, 100 times. I make an abundance of income and riches that come in heavily daily. It doesn't change. You are who you are. The only thing you do is you add, you take away, you reconstruct, you rebuild. It crashes. You rebuild it again. Stronger. I do gymnastics. And I don't say that in like, like I've competed and stuff. Like, I know how to do backflip. I learned early on that when I say like, I was on the tumbling team and stuff like that, people don't know what that is. So I just say gymnastics. But like, I don't say like that. I'm like, I'm like some like, all of that. I'm not in the Olympics. I know how to do backflips. I know how to do front flips. I know how to do acrobatics. And when I learned how to do backflips, I used to always see people do backflips. I used to see kids do, like, I used to see kids 5 years younger than me. Like, I was in 8th grade. They were in 5th grade and they were backflipping off of rails and stairs and, like all of this. I'm like, man, damn, that's really cool. Like, I wanted to be able to do that. Like, so when I learned how to do back handsprings and backflips and stuff like that, and like, I was so excited I would go to school. And like, I'd be doing it in like gym and stuff like that. I'd actually do it 7th period lunch. Oh, love 7th period lunch in high school. So I had learned how to do backflips and stuff like that on just like tumbling team. And I was so excited that I just wanted to like do a backflip everywhere. And the thing about me is the fact that like, I was just so scared because like that motion, like just like that motion is just so weird. But I find it fascinating because like you get to be able to defy gravity in so many different ways. It's like badass, right? So when I learned how to do a backflip, I was excited. I just always wanted to do one. Like I was just like, oh shit, I got the space. Okay, wait. They said like, straighten your arms and make sure that I got it, and I gotta make sure I jump. And like, oh, and I did it. And I was always so excited. And then like 7th period lunch, like we had this mat. Like we had this huge mat. I'm talking about like it was huge. Like it was this competition mat that you could roll up. Like, and it's just like this huge circle that would sit in our cafeteria, like near the stage. And like it got to the point to where I would always want to do the backflips and I would always want to just like, be active with it. That like, like I would do the backflips and then like, every 7th period we got to roll out the mat. Like, like we got the 7th period lunch, we ate and everything like that. And then like we got to like put down this, like mind you, it took like 3 people to like push it. That's how big it was. Like it took 3 people to push it over. And then like, we just unrolled it and we got to unroll it. And then now like it went from 7th period lunch to like, gymnastics in the cafeteria. And like I live in Chicago. So, like the, gang violence and whatnot, like I say that because the inside in of the perspective of what people know, like, oh, Chirac, like all this extra shit. Like, no, it's a beautiful city and like it it has great representation of what it is. And every place in the world has its places. So like Chicago just so happened to be like more ignorant to like the causes of what like people need to do in life, which is so stupid, but like it's pointless. But anyway, but like, now you even got the gangbangers, and you got every old block, you got every 63rd motherfucker on this, on like busting up, and these motherfuckers, they're really talented. Like, it's just a shame to see that you all are just like not doing it, like, and not to like go off topic, but like this is kind of like, earlier connections of what I noticed growing up. I would be in cut. I'm like, okay, you're somebody who's repping the block, and yet you're really good at chess. I think you could be doing something different, but due to the perspective of environment and how things come to be, the distraction that you have, it's hard. You can't get to your true nature because there's just so much noise. And that's a lot about what the signature sport is about too, the actual energy you place into something. But back to it, like, and you got the game bangers out here. They're not like, they're really talented. Like, they're just like busting out backhand springs and sets. Sets are front flip to round off to backflip, note, which backflip no hands, and then backflip, or to a full twist. Like there's different variations of sets. But like they're performing this. And I'm over here like, damn, like, and this all just started with me just wanting to do my backflip. Like I just, arm straight, make sure I jump. Like this is where it started. And it's so funny to see like how something like that could transform an entire motion of energy. And then, through that, you get those same people who like, oh man, I want to do it, man. But I did a backflip, like 8 years ago when like I fell on my neck and I was like, nah, man, I can't do it no more. Like, and then even those people, you like, hey man, get out there and do that shit, man. You got it, like, man, just go ahead and lay, man. Like you let that be known. It's like, oh, and then like now someone who thought that they weren't gonna be doing what they're doing now is doing it again. I had a really good friend. My boy Felton. Like tacos. My boy Felton is incredibly athletic, like stupidly athletic. Like when he does a backflip, it's like he just jumped off of a springboard of like how high he went, which is insane. I see why he fell on his neck and never bothered again, because that's a pretty high, like my man could almost jump like 7 feet in the air, like doing a backflip, which was amazing. But even like, he was one of the, like, man, I fell on my neck and everything like that. And this was freshman year of high school. And then like, sophomore, senior year, I moved to Florida and whatnot. And even throughout, like after the high school graduate years, I was like, I would be down here and I would like be doing backflips still out, like it's Florida, it's grass and everything, all that good stuff. And I'm like, like posting videos on Facebook, like, yo, Ben, yo, Felton, like, yo, Johnny, that's my sister, like, yo, G-Bar, like, what we doing? Like, like, what y'all got? Like to still like, keep that connection of what I was learning to bring out of other people that already knew it, to still be able to bring it to a certain sense of connection. And that's what it's really about. It's our DNA isn't connected to our mothers and fathers for no reason. It's the strand. It's the DNA structure. It's the structure of how we were designed, that through simple connection transforms energy throughout molecular levels. Now, don't let me say all this like I know what I'm talking about. I am not a scientist and I do not have any PhDs in this. I am very aware of like, what's going on when it comes to your like system and whatnot. So I can vouch for it. That you have all these connections and neural pathways, and you have all of these components in your brain that allows you to just know like, all right, this is what I like. This is what I want. This is what I can do. Well, let me. Oh, that was really interesting. Well, let me. oh, wow, you know, and that's how it works. You know, you take the most simplistic things, and then like you go like, I'm not an artist, but like, you know, you take a pen and then you create something that just literally goes, look, this is about as much art as I got. Look. Bam, bam, yeah. Look at my stick figure. Look. Bam. He running from the bull. No. But that's what happens. Like you just get to those points, and then you realize like, oh, I just got to do something else. I just got to do a little bit more. And then stuff happens. Most people are waking up, not going nowhere, not doing anything, and then go to sleep at the end of the day, waking up the next day, wondering why nothing's happening. Because you didn't go nowhere. because you didn't do nothing. Like, and that's what it takes. It takes the effort. Like, and this is the one thing that I've been saying for the longest time, that it ain't even about talent. It's not about skill. It's not about smartness. It's not about knowledge. Smartness, I feel so. It's not about the knowledge. It's about the consistency of the efforts put in. Look, I say it like this all the time. You're going to work at what you're working at. You're going to be working. You're going to be working. Who said it? I'll figure out who said it in a second. You're going to be working out. You're going to be working at it. You're going to be working at it. You're going to be working at it. And you're going to be doing it. And you're going to be like, yes. Like, you're going to be in a mirror. You're going to be like, yes. Oh. You're going to have it. You're going to have all of it. You're going to have all of the scripts. You're going to have all of the knowledge. You're going to have all of the focus. You're going to have all of it applied. You're going to be, you're going to step into the dun, ready for it. And then by the time you get there, like, who's my opponent? There ain't going to be nobody there. So not only did you just become an entire beast of yourself to become someone so unbeatable, you showed up and now you ain't even got no competition. You showed up and there ain't even nobody here. Like you got here and there ain't even nobody in here for you to compete against. So then what do? You completely dominate. Now it's something to just like, you see it all the time in like UFC and like, you know, different fight leagues that you see like, you know, it's this up and coming, you know, superstar. Like, you know, they are just knocking everybody out. Like I'm talking about, like they putting them up against greats. They putting them up against legends. And then they are taking them down like they're flies, like it's nothing. So you have those moments all the time. And there's nothing wrong with competition where you get in to be the best that you can be. What I'm describing right now is the fact that literally, and listen to me when I say this, there is a lot, and I mean a heavy percentage of it. I don't know the exact, but there is a heavy percentage of people that is more okay with being taken care of than them wanting to take care of. Listen to that. There's a lot more people in this world that is more content with them being given and not having to do nothing than wanting to stand up and give to be doing something. There is a high percentage of that. So that's why I always say it doesn't even have, I think, look, and I'm saying this because like, you know, I'm only 27 and, you know, like I watched the world like kind of transform and whatnot. But I say this because like, I'm pretty sure back then, like, I mean, like, we're talking, like, let's put it at, like, 1970s, 1980s. I'm pretty sure back then you had to have something. Like, you had to be, like, able to, like, you know, recreate, like, the whole structure of, like, you know, we're talking about, like, Wright brothers kind of shit. Like, you had to be able to really know something. We're talking about, like, Albert Einstein. Like, you had to really be able to know, like, so I know I said 1970, like, you know, I went further back. You have to be able to really know something to be able to have gotten it. And I think that led the pathway. What has been said? Strong men hard lives make strong men. Strong men make easy lives. That's kind of our generation right now. Like everybody from like the ages of like 15 to like 48 right now, like is like within this, like a lot of people are just like not doing nothing. Not because of the fact that it has nothing to do with intelligence. Like I was just saying, it has nothing to do with strength, intelligence. It's not the fact that they're not strong enough, smart enough, intelligent enough, fast enough, or quick enough. No. The world said, hey, you can do this or you can do this. And then people looked at both and went, and chose one. There's a lot of the world, those top percenters that looked at those things, man, get that shit out of my face. I don't need any of that. Like, I'm going to do this instead. They didn't decide to take what was given. They decided to create more than what was there. And a lot of the world is okay with the fact of like, oh, that's just fine. It's already there. It's good for me. So that's what I mean by there's no, you can do all of what you can, as smart as you are, as intelligent as you are, as strong as you are, as powerful as you are, as much as you can do, you can be all of that and then upgrade all of that and then get to where you're going and nobody ain't going to be there. So now you got, sorry, that's a redone. Now you got all of this momentum because now you have a open playing field. Like nothing can be in your way because there's nothing there. And that's why I say people don't want to do nothing no more. People would literally look around, take a very close look. People would rather, and I say this from industry, restaurant industry perspective, people would rather see this burger come down in front of them, cut it. Oh, yeah, this burger. No. Just to ruin the energy around everybody when it's a simple, like, damn, like, I get that, it didn't come out your way, but it's a simple, like, hey, this is how I like it, though. Is it cool if I get it? You just sit there and you just wait for it. Like, you're going to get another burger. It's going to be the exact same. It's going to be the same Angus patty they pulled out of the motherfucking drawer to throw in a fucking grill. It's going to be the same one. You're just going to wait a little bit more time for it. Your meal and your time isn't ruined because the kids finish first and like everybody's sitting there waiting for you. You a man. Eat it. Get your burger. And then be done before everybody else still. Like, there's ways. There's things that can be implemented. There's things you can do. Stop playing like stop playing like you ain't got no shit there. Because guess what? The moment you go to the world's like, oh, little bit. Like the world knows, and it's only gonna give you that. And you're gonna walk around the rest of the world like, the world never gives me nothing. The world is always so cruel to me. Yeah. Because it rolls right over your it rolls right over your ass. And I tell you, I gotta really get that bleep system. And it rolls right over you. Not because you're not strong enough, not because you're not smart enough, not because you're not powerful enough. It's because you decide to still sit there. You don't. I'll end it with this. In Florida, this is one thing that always is just so annoying when people drive. Like, there's a lot of ducks here. I mean, there's a lot of ducks. And I love the ducks. Don't get me wrong. I love the ducks. Except when these little motherfuckers are just walking in the street, not giving a damn about life, right? So you'll be driving, and then this 2 miles an hour, walking across the street. And my thing is, now look, I don't play. Look, it's illegal. You can't hit like iguanas and ducks and stuff out here. Like, it's illegal to like run them over and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna run it over. But I'm not about to stop either. Because guess what's gonna happen in that little motherfucking duck's brain? its survival instincts are gonna kick in so quick that it's gonna be like, wait a minute, bigger object outside of me is gonna move out of the motherfucking way. What people are deciding to do is being the duck that's dead in the motherfucking road. And that's the fucking truth. Like, excuse me why my friends say, but that's the truth. People are deciding to be a duck in the road, moving how it's moving, and then wondering why it just got hit. That's a problem. And the fact of sometimes this is what makes this scenario worse about this, because like I told you, I'm driving because it's gonna move. It wants to live. It has a better survival instinct than we do. It wants to live. It's gonna move. It may not move fast enough, but it's gonna get out my way. Like, I don't hit him. Just for the record, you know, I've never hit one. But the thing is, the inverse of that, right? When the duck is like in the middle of the street and there's somebody in front of me and, you know, like I can't go around the duck or like how I would normally do, they wait for it. They wait for that little motherfucker to take its precious little time to get across the street. Now, I'm not talking about like no like little family of ducks, you know, that's like on its way to like, you know, like look, mama duck and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little baby ducks. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the adult ones that are just like chilling in the yard and shit like that and everything. They just, you know, feathering and shit, you know, like we're talking about these motherfuckers. Like, and they would allow the mother to just walk simply across the street as it does, because they have nowhere else to go. So there's two problems right now. There's the fact that there's something in the way that can totally be avoided, that can be totally overcame. But now there's this other thing in the way that's allowing it to do what it's doing. And then that's what's happening in our world. Like, some people are walking around like little fucking ducks. Some of the world is going, oh, little duck. And then you got the other motherfuckers running that motherfucker over. Like, and then you got me that, like, you know, just make sure it gets out the way. But that's the thing. Like, this is what's happening. This is literally what's happening. Like, nobody's doing nothing. The world's coddling nothing, giving awards, giving participation points because you're just trying to cross the street. The world's just giving people stuff. The world has always been giving people stuff. The difference between the world giving you the stuff that you're still like, oh, not enough. Oh, I feel like it's just this, and you going, man, get this out of my way, man. I'll get some others. The main difference is the fact of the attitude behind it. And some people have the attitude that, man, get that out of here. We're then walking like a duck. It doesn't work. You can't do both. You have to be on one side. This is why there's a seesaw. Like, one side's always gonna be up, one side's always gonna be down. I've never walked past a seesaw and seen it completely level with nobody on it. Like, so it's gonna be one way or the other. You choose which one you want. And that all comes to the simple fact of transforming who you are into something else. Don't be a duck. Be a car that got somewhere to be. It only gets better from here because we get better. Remember that.